Hi students. Today we are going to study a short story named Salvatore written by Somerset Maugham. This story charms the reader through its simplicity. No clever plots, no suspense or reliance on wit. The beauty of Salvatore lies in its simplicity, and the simplicity derives its integrity through the masterful characterization of the protagonist. The narrator traces the life of a certain Salvatore and shows us the goodness of this man, playing out the different aspects of his less than perfect life. The story opens with the narrator expressing a sense of doubt in what he is attempting. I wonder if I can do it. Towards the end of the story, his simple ambition is revealed of holding the reader's attention for a few pages while he draws the portrait of an ordinary man, foreseeing the rare virtue of goodness, and clearly he has. We first come across Salvatore through the eyes of the narrator as a carefree boy of 15. Being a son of an Italian fisherman, Salvatore spends most of his time around the beach. This jolly kid with a pleasant face and a laughing mouth loves to swim, climb the rocks, and frolic around in a carefree fashion. This boy with a body as thin as rail acts as a nursemaid to his brothers, ever watchful of their safety and always makes sure that they do not miss their frugal midday meal. Salvatore grows up with great rapidity and falls madly in love with a girl from Gran Marina, and he desires to tie the knot with her. However, the duty towards his country calls him to join the navy of King Victor Emmanuel, and he has to leave his hometown before they get married. He weeps like a child on finding himself in foreign lands and is terribly homesick, especially when Ischia and Mount Vesuvius are no longer within his sight. Moreover, parting from his lover is the hardest part of him to bear, and he resorts to writing long, ill-spelled letters to her. Salvatore is then tossed around from Venice to Bali to China and ends up falling terribly ill. He bears his hardship with the patience of a dog and is told he will never be able to do manual work and is no longer fit for his service. Our man is delighted. He can finally return to his lover. Salvatore is in for a rude shock though. The girl doesn't show up to receive him when he returns home. Sure, his family members do fawn over him on his arrival, but the girl just isn't there. Soon we see him going to the house of his lover only to be rudely jilted by her. His lady love says that she cannot marry a man who would never be strong enough to work like a man. Salvatore is heartbroken. However, despite the tragedy, this spurned lover never breathes a word of malice against his ex-lover. His smile was very sad, and his eyes had the look of a dog that has been beaten. But he did not complain, and he never said a hard word of the girl he had loved so well. A few months later, he attracts the attention of a young woman called Asanta, whom he immediately declares to be as ugly as the devil. However, this seemingly rude remark can be attributed to his directness mingled with post breakup irritability rather than pure malice. His mother tells him that she had seen him at the festa, and Salvatore ends up marrying Assunta on hearing of her love for him. Salvatore is honest enough to refrain from playing hard to get and gentle enough to understand and reciprocate somebody else's affection. Soon he becomes a father and plays his part in a hard enough life. He begins providing for his family through fishing and catching profitable cuttlefish by night. This often includes long bouts of rowing to and fro from the fishing grounds to Naples. When not fishing, he occupies himself in the vineyard from dawn till dusk. And when his rheumatism forces him to lie down on the beach and smoke some cigarettes, he has nothing but a pleasant word for everyone despite the nerve-wracking pain in his legs. Seeing him thus, the judgmental foreigners who pass by the beach often dismiss the guy and claim that the Italian fishermen are lazy devils. The fatherly affection of Salvatore is beautifully portrayed in the final paragraphs of the story, where we find him enjoying his time with his kids. The sight is replete with love and care of a dutiful father. He would seat the naked baby on the palm of his hand and hold him up. His eyes were then as candid as his child's. The narrator then reveals the intent of his endeavor to see whether he could hold the reader's attention for a few pages by describing a character who possessed a quality which is rarest, the most precious, and the loveliest that anyone can have. And the quality, of course, is goodness, just goodness. By the time we finish reading the story, we find that our narrator has indeed been successful in arresting the reader's attention for a few pages. This is not only because the quality of goodness itself is a commendable virtue, but also through Mohan's skillful representation of the qualities present in protagonist's life. The account of Salvatore is related in the third person by an observant speaker who adopts a conversational tone. It serves us well to make the virtue of goodness in Salvatore's life as the central point while analyzing the story. At first glance, it may seem that it is just goodness that the narrator seeks to explore through his sketch of Salvatore. However, on a closer look, we discover that the word goodness carries with it a world of various qualities that manifest themselves along the narrative as the life of Salvatore unfolds. One of the first qualities indirectly attributed to Salvatore is responsibility. We are told that Salvatore acted as nursemaid to his two younger brothers, ever watchful of their safety and well-being, and in doing so comes off as a caring brother. This is one of the first among a multiplicity of qualities that go into the making of the admirable unity of goodness. He is a passionate lover and remains faithful towards the girl he loves. While on his naval duty, his thoughts are preoccupied with the girl he is left behind, and he constantly writes long letters to his lover, though she doesn't give response. This quality of giving without expecting anything in return speaks of the sincerity of his love and the generosity of this human being. Goodness, which resides in him, refuses to be shaped by the hardships of life, whether it is his care for his brothers, his duty towards his country, his forgiveness for the woman who rejected him, his acceptance of another who loved him, his hardworking nature, his affection for his children, and his sheer strength of character all go into the making of this quality which sets him apart from his fellow men, and the quality of goodness. And above all, this goodness is tempered with humility.